Star Squad? Momokeas here, and today we're going to be gushing or crushing over a game we beat on stream a while back called Oneshot. This game was released December 8th of 2016 and was developed by FutureCat LLC and published by Komodo. This game is labeled as an adventure puzzle game. FutureCat is currently working on their next big title to be released, Margin of the Strange. As for Komodo, they have published other titles that I really haven't heard of, but all sound interesting to play, like Pocket Mirror, Pico Pico, and even Hatsune Miku the Planet of Wonder and Fragment Wishes, which is apparently a Miku adventure game. This game review is solely based on my experience with this game and is my opinion on said experience. You should not take this review as fact and still give the game a go for yourself. Spoiler warning, in the event I accidentally spoil anything for my fellow Star Warriors, and without further ado, on with the show! In this game, you play as yourself. You take control of a little cat child named Nico, who wakes up in an abandoned house. Your mission, that is originally explained to you at the very beginning of the game, is to help Nico get home. You are warned that the decisions you make along the way are final. You only get one shot. Oh my god, it's the title of the game! Nico finds a light bulb that lights up once they touch it. After leaving the house, they find themselves in the Barrens. And after speaking with the Prophet Bot, you both find out that the light bulb that Nico is holding is the sun, that Nico is the Messiah, and Nico has to put the sun back. Nico begins to talk to you directly, and together you help Nico travel to the top of the tower to return the sun and bring the light back to this dark world. The story of this game is best learned from the characters you meet along the way, as well as the notes left behind from the previous inhabitants. You start to learn that the sun went out years ago and sent the world into a slow and dark decay. Trapped in the forever darkness, those who remain use phosphor shrimp, fireflies, or even electricity to keep some of the lights on. There are two different types of characters who roam: robots who aren't tamed, and people. The robots, who are stuck performing their coded functions, help you the best that they can, but they can't go against their programming. There was one robot who went rogue, and she actually resembles the scientist who made her. Honestly, she was one of my favorite characters. You even instill some hope in her after she meets you and Nico, having lost hope for so long. The more you progress, the more you learn about Nico. They take multiple breaks throughout the game and tell you about their home, their mom, their favorite food as well, which is pancakes. The pacing of the story was very well balanced and engaging enough to keep you invested. You end up falling in love with both Nico and the world you're trying to save. For the controls of this game, you use keyboard and mouse or controller. I mainly use controller. The only accessibility option I saw was a colorblind mode, but I really didn't have any problem reading the text, and to my knowledge the game is very accessible as there aren't a lot of controls to handle, there aren't really any QuickTime events or any flashing or harsh lighting. In this game, you can interact with objects and characters, fast travel between places you've already visited, and combine items in your inventory. The difficulty level I would say is normal. While some of the puzzles at the beginning were easy, they get very hard as you progress. Which leads me to my most interesting mechanic of this game. It breaks the fourth wall. While yes, you and Nico can communicate, the game also accesses files in your computer, hiding the answers to some of the puzzles that way. If you close the game without putting Nico into a bed for them to take a nap, Nico will respond to you when you reopen the game, stating that everything just went dark. There are also times that the game would talk to you directly through your PC. One of my favorite mechanics in this game is the very subtle RNG that happens when you play. No two playthroughs are alike, and there is a very subtle way that the game lets you know that you are in another timeline, so to speak. While you can play this game full screen, it is strongly suggested that you play windowed, so that you can get the full experience. Since this game focuses more on the adventure, there isn't really a main threat in the game. Well, not a main threat that harms Nico. The design of this game is pixelated. We love our pixelated indie masterpieces. On cutscenes, this game will switch to beautifully rendered pixelated photos. Interestingly enough, if you let Nico take a nap in one of the 3 beds scattered across the game, you will return to the images making a separate cutscene. I think what is most interesting about these particular pictures is that they aren't pixelated. The subtle change from pixel to stylized art separates the real world from the game world. There are little sparkles that lead you to items of interest, usually key items needed to solve later puzzles. However, I strongly suggest interacting with everything you can, as there are some hidden details and hidden items that can solve side puzzles. This game is extremely detailed, utilizing shading and lighting manipulation to tell the story of what remains of this world. Now for the soundtrack. The music did a great job of matching the energy of this game. The tracks sound like a mixture of sadness from the cold, decaying world, but sprinkled in are the little blips of happiness and hope that Nico brings to said world. In some tracks, you can hear it faintly echo like you would if you were in an empty room. Others have a happier sound, but if you listen closely, you can hear the dark tones that lie underneath. Some tracks follow that same layout, but in reverse, where the dark tones are taking over the little trills of happy notes that are trying to ring through. The soundtrack does a great job of meshing the two and giving you an unforgettable experience while you explore the world. There are actually two soundtracks. There was a special ending added to the game back in 2017 that feature all new songs. So, in Soundtrack 1, there are 42 tracks ranging anywhere from about 10 seconds to about 5 minutes. The special soundtrack has about 27 tracks that range anywhere from about 8 seconds to 3 minutes. The soundtracks are also calming enough to vibe to, but also interesting enough to make you want to decipher them, like they could be a puzzle all on their own. Overall, this game was a beautiful experience. I fell in love with the story these devs told and found myself laughing, crying, and just overall enjoying this game. I got attached and deeply connected with these characters, their struggles, and their plights, and even found myself getting called out when some of them admitted their feelings and quirks. There are 3 endings in this game. Believe it or not, you actually don't have only one shot. This game was an absolute gush for me, and I strongly suggest everyone give it a playthrough for themselves. This game is available on Steam for a solid $10 and is available on all consoles. Shout out to CosmoSpaceDragon for gifting me this game. This game offers around 4 hours of playtime if you focus on the main story, and about 9 hours if you go the completionist route. Times are subject to change depending on how much you explore. Interacting with everything isn't required for the completionist, it just gives you a better understanding of the story. If you've played this game before, let me know. Did you have different opinions than I? Let's open up that conversation. If there are any other indie titles you would like for me to check out, leave them in the comments below. I'm always looking for more games to play. If you want to watch me play these indies live, you can check me out at twitch.tv/Momokeas, and all of my other social links are in the description below. The next Gush or Crush is currently unknown, as we are gearing up to start some new indie titles. I hope to see you all there though, and until next time, be good, shine bright, don't let anyone dim that light, and stay awesome!